Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
I'm going to take a little look at shaping an arm and bringing the arm forward from the body. So I've made a start on this arm and I thought we would have a little look at it together and a little talk about it. So when we're trying to bring, say, an arm forward from the body, obviously the arm has got to be a lighter shading tone than the body itself, than the torso, to pull it forward. Remember, the darker colours push things back, the lighter tone next to the dark brings things forward. So let's have a little look at this today and see how we go on. Hope everybody's had a great weekend. I went camping in the Lake District and it absolutely chucked it down all day and night. So we got soaked. So let's start with this back end of the arm. I'm going to flit about a bit on this arm as I shape it. Now if you think about this side of the arm, it's coming up and over, isn't it, from round and underneath. So we want that shading curl to show that it's coming, up and round. We don't go really far with this darker shade here, because this is like just showing you like a little bit of the side of the arm, if you like, going off to the part you can't see. Been a bit busy the last few days, so I've not been able to do much work on our superhero here, but we're getting near to the finish line. It's just darkening up and things now and shaping. So this side of the arm obviously is coming from underneath round the other way, so we want our shading to come up this side, but we want to leave this a bit lighter, the shading, so it can contrast against this dark torso and gives the illusion of it being sat further forward. Don't forget with the body, it'll go off round the side, but it'll only go so far and then it gets onto the front. So you have to bear that in mind. You can't take that curl right round here, because it doesn't go right round here, does it? The body curls off and then you've got the rib cage coming in there on the front, so you can't go too far. This part you probably won't even see when you have the frame on it, but I still would burn it anyway for some reason. I don't know why, but I do. So I've got my setting at just over 4 with this medium space shader, which is quite high heat for it. This is a bit of like sort of a big crease in the this latex rubbery sort of suit that he's got on, or leather suit, whatever it is. Up here is where the forearm fold sort of finishes. And same again here, the forearm is going to come round from the dark, but it's only going to be very light at its darkest point. But you remember on previous videos where I have mentioned a clean edge to value, i.e. everything we do must have a clean, sharp edge, as it would in real life. This part, if I just let me swing the board around, to bear with me a second, make sure you still can see what I'm doing. This part is the underneath of the arm, so that's using the side of my pen, using a very side tip, side line of it. I'm just flicking gentle strokes to look like it's coming from underneath in the darker and bursting round into the, as the light hits the forearm. My talkie is weird suit here because you've got some weird shapes going on here. This part is actually, I'm going to switch the board around again because I need to get it from this angle. This part is actually like a red stripe on the reference photo, so we're going to go darker with this. There's my cat asking for food. Just wait a minute a second, I'll drink water. So with this red bit, it's actually sitting up above this other line, so there is a slight touch of shading as it sits above. And as it curls round from the top, where it'll be like dark up here, where there's less light getting to the top of the forearm, and it's curling round into the light, we'll leave a lighter shade, and then as it drops off downwards, we will start blending darker, so to give it that effect that it's moving around. It seems to finish around here. I will tighten this. And shadowing up just by using the very tip of my pen. Just try and get a cleaner line in there. Let's have a look at this part before. This is quite light, this area. These have to be shaded yet, to be pushed back from this arm. But we're not going to put too much shading in there. as the light is really hitting that area. I'm going to switch it back round and go back to this underneath area. We're always working backwards and forwards, so top and bottom, trying to find that elusive shaping. Hopefully you've still got me in camera well enough. Elbow area. There's not much light down here. Tucked under the elbow. But I'm still trying to move on an angle. I'm not going straight up with my strokes. I'm trying to angle with a shape that it would be like, you know, a tubular shape. This area is coming round from the back. If you really spend your time on your shading on the arm, you can get some wonderful effect. Don't forget, I'm going to need a clean edge to value on the bottom of this arm, so let's spin it round a second. Let's try with the very tip of the pen. Try and get a clean edge. And then let's move back to this bit of bicep again. We know this is curling up from the darker area. So I'm just tapping down gently, just building my shading. I'll leave a lighter patch here in the middle for a bit of a highlight where the light is bouncing off. And here there's like creases in the leather. This area sits up above. This is actually like another red strap. This area needs darkening as it goes off round under the arm, but again we need a clean edge to value here, so we need to darken off to make a distinction between that belt line going round under and the arm sitting forward. The very tip of a pen. You can use a really small ball tip. You can use a micro skew to get a real, if you want to go really deep into it, you know, get a really fine line. And what I'm looking to do now is gently blend everything in. All the marks and stuff I've put in all want to be blended now. Looking at trying to get my final finish on some of this and make the transition smooth. You know, when I look at my reference picture, this area is quite dark underneath. This part actually sits up quite high. So I'll put more of a darker shade from the underneath where the light is less and the shadow is coming. Whereas it round here wants to be darker. This actually wants blending out because this isn't a double liner like the bottom. So I want to sit this back from this top part. What I love looking at on, pieces of art is how the shade differences can really bring things forward and push things back, and create amazing illusions to the eye. When in fact it's a flat piece of wood, yet you can make it look like it has more, 3D effect, more depth to it. I know we use that word a lot, don't I, depth? But depth is what we're looking for all the time with our pyrography art. We're always searching to create depth. That is when you've made a truly wonderful piece of art, is when you've captured the depth of the subject. Make sure you've got me on camera, okay. So again, remember, clean edge. Now this area, the forearm is going to start to bend this way a little, isn't it? So let's move the strokes in a slightly different angle this time. There is actually another sort of patch thing here with a shadow underneath it, with a piece of fabric that's sticking over the top here. Let's get some shadow and shade underneath. And right up to this point, there it'll shade darker. This needs to blend out these creases. Again here, we need a clean edge. And then this bit on this underarm area, just right beneath the forearm, wants to be a different shade to this. And what I'll do is I'll colour right up tight. Because right at the edge it's going to go off and you're not going to see anything, so. On our Facebook group, we've started a new Pyrographer of the Month competition, and it's a nautical theme, which is anything to do with boats, the sea, water. The 2 Pyrographers of the Month last month were brilliant pieces of art. Really enjoyed looking through all of them. There were some wonderful entries. See, this area is red, so it's going to have to shade up darker, the whole of it. Well, you don't have to shade it all darker. You can go your own way. You know, you don't have to stick to the letter of the law of your reference picture when you're creating a piece of art for yourself. You can make it your own unique piece of art. You don't have to stick exactly to a reference. I often don't. I really want to clean this edge up. And where the shadow is here, where this patch sticks over the top of this part of the suit, this area underneath must go to the same shade as the shadowing. Otherwise it wouldn't make sense, it wouldn't read right. See how everything's working on that angle though? We're gradually building our way up that angle. And here, again, there's a darker area. As it comes up this way, and the more you add layering to your work and you push that heat, I'm going to put clean edge to value down the edge of this arm. Yeah, the more you work it, the deeper you soak the heat and the more depth you get with your artwork. Now I'll put that clean edge in. I need to blend right up to here, so I'm using the edge of my pen, and I can do it quite quickly because I'm proficient with my pens. Just take time. If you're not as accurate yet with your pen, just slow it down. You know, you may not be able to get right clean up to the edge like I can with this edge line. And we need to look at this area here. So there is going to be some shading as it bends around the arm. So what we do, bottom side will be shaded, top side will come shading this way, and we'll leave a light patch in the middle. as a shadow. This bit goes round to there, and then as it drops off, and then we can add a little bit of shading. Yeah, just extenuate that shadow. Now here I want to leave a lighter spot because the light's going to be hitting there. The elbow needs more work yet. I like to try and show you what I'm doing in real time, so hopefully it gives you a better idea. You know, of how I'm shading, how I'm blending, how I'm thinking about the shapes. Now, this elbow is a pad area, so there is like from this pad there's a step down, only a fraction of, you know, a couple of millimeters, but we must put a darker shade in to show that this pad is actually sat up. It's only ever so slight. So then again we must add a bit more shadowing. I'm just going to put a light blend. Still trying to follow the shape of the arm, which can be quite tricky in these little tight areas. You know, you just want to dab with the tiny edge of your pen. Sorry, I know there's a lot of board moving. It's easy to move your board to get at the right angle. No point trying to, you know, get your hand around there, just move your board around on angles. This needs a clean edge. Gone a bit dark there, haven't it? Look, we can use that. I touched right with the very outside edge of the pen then. Got a dark line that I didn't want. I can use it as like a little crease in the suit. Luckily got away with that one. Elbows are quite a tricky one to shade, because the shading's coming from so many ways. It's coming round, then here it's coming round, and then there it's curling. So there's lots of different angles involved in an elbow to shape it up. Because this area is darker so underneath, we're going to have to add some shade in there, but this arm is going to go up this way. We're going to leave a lighter patch here because the light's going to hit on this part of the elbow, isn't it? Let's have a look at this stripe that I put in. This stripe actually wants to sit down. If I left it white, it looks like it's really high, but on the picture it looks like it's actually some stitching or something. So I'm going to shade it out. I'm going to leave it in because there's some shaded, some like stitching there or something, some seam, but it's not actually white. So I'm just going to gently colour in, just have a very light shade to it. So hopefully you can see the gist, working from top, bottom, and you're always going to leave a lighter patch in the middle where the light is whacking into it, like here. The light is hitting it, the light's going to be hitting it here, so I'm going to leave lighter patches. There's going to be light hitting here, there's going to be light hitting all around here, so I'm going to have to leave lighter patches. Then obviously coming from underneath the arm is going to be darker, isn't it? So that's the things just you have to think about with an arm, and it's I wouldn't say as simple as that, but it is as simple as that. Just, you know, work both sides and get your shape. Leave your lighter areas to pull them up and push the darker sides down to the sides, so you can give an effect of like a curl. What I will do now, as we've had a little discussion about searching for the light and those shapes, you know, as we work the areas trying to capture the shaping, I will switch it over to time lapse while I finish working on this arm, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can create something. Alright, so happy pyroing everybody. I hope that little video on how to shape, like say, anything that is rounded, hope it makes more sense to be darker on the sides, looking for the lighter areas to pull them forward, and that'll give you much more depth with an arm or whatever it is you're doing by simply shading up the sides, building like a bridge, if you like. You know, that's what we're looking to do. And I don't rush this process. I like to look, you know, and move around a little bit so I can get the feel for the shape of what I'm trying to create. So we're going to take this down. See here, we need a clean edge to value there. So I can put a little lump in there, as you know, as if this is going up and then just creasing round. Okay, so I shall leave you all to it. Thank you for tuning in today. And like I said, there'll be just a couple of minutes of time lapsing and finishing this arm, and we'll see what we've got come the end of it. Okay, so take care, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Sending lots of love and positive thoughts out to you all, and enjoy your pyrography. Okay, take care for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you later.